In the demanding world of heavy construction, where productivity is measured in cubic meters per hour and machine reliability can make or break a project timeline, only the most capable excavators survive. Across the mountainous regions of Central Europe, where slopes exceed 35 degrees and terrain makes conventional tracked machines simply topple over, a different category of equipment emerged from the most unlikely place. Among the pieces of machinery that forever changed steep slope construction, few carry the revolutionary legacy of the Menzi Muck walking excavator, a spider-legged machine capable of operating on near-vertical terrain that would destroy any conventional excavator within minutes. The story begins not in some vast industrial complex or prestigious engineering institute, but in Menznau, Switzerland, a town of barely 2,800 residents nestled in the central highlands of Canton Lucerne, 60 kilometers south of Zurich. Here, surrounded by dairy farms and forested hills, a mechanical revolution would unfold that challenged every assumption about what excavation equipment could accomplish. The numbers from Europe's post-war infrastructure boom tell a compelling story. Engineers estimated that 40% of planned Alpine highway projects between 1950 and 1970 were economically unfeasible due to equipment limitations. Conventional tracked excavators maxed out at 20 to 25 degree slopes. Beyond that threshold, machines became unstable, operators faced lethal rollover risks, and construction costs spiraled beyond justification. Thousands of kilometers of mountain roads needed construction, but the equipment simply couldn't reach the work sites safely. What most people don't know is that the solution to this impossible engineering challenge would come from a modest agricultural equipment repair shop, not from Caterpillar or Liebherr, or any of the established heavy equipment manufacturers. In Menznau, a machine shop operator named Adolf Müller had spent 2 decades observing the same frustrating pattern. Farmers and forestry operators throughout 3 cantons brought him tractors and hydraulic equipment, damaged on steep terrain. Standard machines weren't designed for Switzerland's topography, yet Switzerland's economy demanded they work there anyway. But Müller wasn't content watching farmers destroy expensive equipment on slopes these machines were never engineered to handle. What if an excavator could walk independently across terrain, positioning each leg like a mountain climber, rather than relying on vulnerable tracks or wheels? That question, asked in a small Swiss workshop in the early 1980s, would ultimately create an excavator capable of operating on 70-degree slopes, terrain so steep that standing upright becomes difficult for humans, let alone operating heavy machinery. Adolf Müller established Müller & Kommers in 1947 as an agricultural equipment repair shop, operating from an 8-person workshop on the edge of Menznau. Trained as a precision machinist in Zurich before the war, Müller had spent 12 years at Swiss Locomotive and Machine Works, where he developed expertise in hydraulic systems and heavy mechanical assemblies. His workshop served farming communities across 3 cantons, specializing in repairing hydraulic systems on tractors and forestry equipment that operated in Switzerland's challenging terrain. By 1955, the operation employed 23 people and generated annual revenue of approximately 380,000 Swiss francs. The work was steady, profitable, and utterly conventional. The 1960s brought a fundamental shift in Müller's business model. Alpine farmers and forestry operators faced unique challenges that standard equipment manufacturers ignored. Conventional machines couldn't handle steep terrain without modifications, and those modifications typically involved crude winch systems that added weight, complexity, and danger. Müller began designing custom hydraulic systems for slope-accessible forestry equipment, transitioning from repair work to actual engineering development. In 1967, his workshop produced its first custom winch-assist excavator attachment that allowed conventional excavators to operate on 30-degree slopes when tethered to fixed anchor points. The device was simple, effective, and immediately popular. By 1972, Müller & Koer had manufactured 47 custom forestry winches used throughout Switzerland and Austria. The workshop expanded to 45 employees by 1975, but Muller wasn't content with incremental improvements to fundamentally flawed equipment. Winch assist systems still required stable anchor points, restricted working radius, and created constant tension in steel cables that could snap catastrophically. The real breakthrough needed to eliminate external supports entirely. In 1983, during a trade show in Oslo, Muller observed spider-like logging equipment used in Scandinavian forests, machines with articulated legs that could step over obstacles rather than rolling over them. The concept ignited something. What if an excavator could walk independently, positioning each leg separately, like a mountain climber selecting footholds? The machine wouldn't need tracks vulnerable to slope angles or wheels that lost traction on loose scree. It would simply walk to where it needed to be, establish stable footing, and operate from there. In 1984, Mueller assigned Hans Bachmann, a 15-year company veteran and the shop's lead hydraulic engineer, to develop a prototype walking undercarriage. The company committed 620,000 Swiss francs to research and development, representing 41% of that year's total revenue. It was an enormous gamble for a small manufacturer, betting nearly half its earnings on unproven technology. The timing couldn't have been more perfect. Infrastructure investment in mountainous regions was accelerating globally, and equipment limitations were strangling project economics. 2 years later, in 1986, the first Menzi Muck walking excavator prototype emerged from the Menzi workshop, ready to revolutionize an industry that didn't yet know it needed revolutionizing. The walking concept represented a complete reimagining of excavator mobility. 4 independently controlled hydraulic legs, each with 3 articulation points, replaced conventional tracks entirely. The M5x, the production model that emerged from Bachmann's prototype development, weighed 16,500 kilograms and featured a 9.2-meter maximum reach with a 0.6 cubic meter bucket capacity. Hydraulic pressure reached 350 bar, equivalent to 5,075 pounds per square inch, distributed across 184 meters of high-pressure hydraulic lines, organized into 8 independent circuits. Each leg could extend, retract, and pivot independently, allowing the machine to walk across terrain and position itself with precision impossible for tracked excavators. Ground pressure adjusted from 0.3 to 1.2 kilograms per square centimeter, depending on leg configuration, enabling the machine to operate on surfaces ranging from solid rock to soft alpine meadow without sinking or slipping. The engineering challenge wasn't simply making legs move. Maintaining center of gravity while excavating on extreme slopes required real-time hydraulic pressure balancing across all 4 legs simultaneously. Bachmann's team developed an automatic leveling system where sensors monitored slope angle and adjusted leg extension 50 times per second, compensating for load shifts as the bucket filled and swung. The operator cab mounted on a self-leveling platform that remained horizontal regardless of chassis angle, preventing the disorientation that plagued operators attempting steep slope work in conventional machines. A 16-function joystick gave operators manual control of each leg or access to semi-automatic walking mode, where the machine calculated optimal foot placement. Between 1987 and 1988, the prototype underwent 2,400 hours of testing on slopes, ranging from 45 to 65 degrees throughout the Swiss Alps, proving what seemed impossible. The M5x could operate on slopes exceeding 70 degrees, nearly vertical cliff faces where conventional excavators would simply topple backward. In 1989, the first commercial M5x units sold. The Swiss Highway Authority purchased 3 machines for the A2 motorway expansion through the Gotthard Pass region, where crews needed to excavate and stabilize slopes along some of Europe's most dramatic mountain terrain. Each unit cost approximately 485,000 Swiss francs, 3.2 times the price of conventional excavators. The premium seemed outrageous until project managers calculated the economics. On steep terrain, one M5X replaced 3 conventional excavators equipped with winch assist systems, eliminated the need for anchor point installation, and removed crew safety risks associated with operating standard machines on slopes where rollover was a constant threat. By 1992, 27 M5X units operated across Switzerland, Austria, and northern Italy. The numbers proved market validation. The walking excavator wasn't a novelty. It was essential equipment for construction projects that conventional machines couldn't safely reach. Menzi Muck had created a machine that solved problems the industry didn't know how to address, and the global infrastructure boom was about to make that capability extremely valuable. The mid-1990s marked an unprecedented surge in global infrastructure investment across mountainous regions. Alpine tunnel projects, Norwegian fjord highways, Japanese mountain expressways, and Andean mining access roads all required equipment capable of operating where conventional machines failed. Menzi Muck found itself positioned as the only manufacturer offering turnkey, steep-slope excavation solutions at precisely the moment when the world needed them most. Employment reached 127 by 1997, nearly triple the workforce from just 12 years earlier. Annual production climbed to between 32 and 38 walking excavators by 1998, with 1999 revenue hitting 24.7 million Swiss francs. The small workshop in Menznau had transformed into a specialized manufacturer with global reach, shipping machines to projects that represented the cutting edge of mountain infrastructure development. Geographic conquest happened rapidly. By 1996, 14 Menzi Muck machines worked on Norway's E39 coastal highway project, blasting and excavating cliffside routes along fjords, where one operator error could send equipment plummeting into the sea. In 2001, the first exports reached Japan for Hokkaido mountain tunnel approaches, with modified M5X variants featuring narrower track widths for confined spaces. The South American breakthrough came in 2004 when Chilean copper mining operations purchased 8 units for steep pit wall maintenance at El Teniente mine, the world's largest underground copper mine facing surface access challenges on terrain approaching vertical. Australian coal operations adopted the M5X in 2006 for highwall scaling and reclamation work in Queensland. By 2007, Menzi Muck machines operated in 23 countries across 5 continents, with approximately 340 M5X series excavators in active service globally. The company had achieved something remarkable for a manufacturer that began as an agricultural repair shop. Complete dominance in a specialized market niche that established manufacturers couldn't effectively penetrate. Technical evolution accompanied market expansion. The product line diversified into the M545X standard model, the M555X at 19 tons for larger capacity work, and the M565X at 22 tons with extended reach capabilities. Specialized variants emerged for rail-mounted tunnel construction and amphibious configurations for wetland operations. In 2003, Menzi Muck introduced a GPS-guided automatic positioning system where operators could program walking paths and the machine would execute movements autonomously, navigating complex terrain without continuous, manual control. The attachment ecosystem expanded to 27 options including hydraulic hammers, grapples, rotary tillers, and mowing decks, transforming the walking excavator platform from single-purpose excavation tool into versatile steep terrain equipment capable of addressing virtually any slope-based construction challenge. Deutz engines ranging from 115 to 160 horsepower powered different models, balancing performance with fuel efficiency for extended remote operation. By 2008, Menzi Muck employed 142 people, exported to 23 countries, and commanded premium pricing that reflected capabilities no competitor could match. The company had reached its absolute zenith, dominant in a market it essentially created, profitable, growing, and seemingly invincible within its specialized domain. But the same forces that built Menzi Muck's specialized dominance would test whether niche expertise could survive economic shocks that devastated global infrastructure spending. The 2008 financial crisis hit mountain construction projects with particular brutality. Long timeline highway developments and expensive alpine tunnel expansions were among the first projects canceled as governments slashed infrastructure budgets worldwide. Menzi Muck's order backlog collapsed from 41 units in late 2008 to just 11 units by March 2009, a 73% drop in 6 months. The company that had thrived on steady expansion suddenly faced existential questions about survival. Revenue crashed to 14.2 million Swiss francs in 2009, down 42% from the 2007 peak, and employment fell from 142 to 89 through brutal workforce reductions between 2009 and 2010. Niche specialization, once the company's greatest competitive advantage, became a dangerous vulnerability. When steep slope construction stopped, there was no adjacent market to pivot toward, no alternative customer base to sustain production. Martin Mueller, Adolf's grandson now leading the third-generation family business, seriously considered selling to a larger equipment manufacturer rather than watching the company his grandfather built slowly suffocate. The crisis revealed another emerging threat beyond simple demand collapse. Larger manufacturers had finally noticed the steep slope niche that Menzi Muck dominated. In 2011, Austrian manufacturer Kaiser AG introduced a competing walking excavator variant with simpler design and lower cost, though limited to 45-degree operating capability. Japanese manufacturers, including Komatsu, experimented with spider excavators for forestry markets, directly targeting territory Menzi Muck had traditionally owned. The new competitors undercut Menzi Muck pricing by 25 to 35%, forcing margin compression even as order volume remained depressed. The M5x remained technically superior for extreme 70-degree slopes, but projects requiring that level of capability were rare. Most work fell in the 30 to 45-degree range where cheaper alternatives proved sufficient, eroding the premium pricing that had sustained profitability during growth years. Strategic adaptation became essential for survival. In 2012, Menzi Muck established a rental fleet, allowing customers to lease machines for project duration rather than making capital purchases during uncertain economic conditions. Service offerings expanded to include operator training programs, maintenance contracts, and retrofit services for aging units. Market positioning shifted towards specialty applications, including pipeline construction in mountainous terrain, environmental reclamation on steep slopes, and avalanche protection work. Projects where extreme capability still commanded premiums. In 2015, the company licensed its walking undercarriage technology to a South Korean manufacturer for smaller utility machines, generating royalty revenue that helped stabilize finances. By 2016, employment had stabilized at 97 and annual production settled at 18 to 22 units. The company remained profitable, but at permanently reduced scale. The era of rapid expansion and geographic conquest had definitively ended, replaced by pragmatic focus on sustainable operations within a market that would never again support the growth trajectory of the golden years. Today, Menzi Muck AG operates from the same Menznau facility, where Adolf Müller founded the company in 1947, employing 102 people and producing approximately 20 walking excavators annually. The company remains family-owned through 3 generations, still the only manufacturer offering excavators capable of 70-degree operation, a distinction that matters less in an industry increasingly focused on efficiency over extreme capability. Primary markets concentrate in Switzerland, Austria, Germany, and Norway, the Alpine and Nordic regions where steep terrain remains a constant construction reality. Approximately 580 Menzi Muck machines remain in service globally, many over 20 years old, still operating on slopes where conventional excavators cannot venture. What sets the M5X apart in historical perspective isn't simply technical capability, but operator devotion. Hans Gruber, equipment manager for Switzerland's Federal Roads Office, stated flatly that for certain projects, there simply is no alternative to Menzi Muck machines. Parts availability remains excellent, with the company maintaining inventory for every model manufactured since 1989. Average service life reaches $22,000 to $28,000 operating hours, far exceeding conventional excavator lifespans. 20-year-old M5X machines still command 40 to 45% of original purchase price in used equipment markets, testament to durability and sustained demand. The company still conducts 5-day operator training courses at the Menznau facility, drawing participants from 12 countries annually. The Menzi Muck user group gathers 150-plus operators in Lucerne each year to exchange techniques and modifications, forming a community around equipment most of the construction industry has never seen. The M5X represented pure problem-solving engineering without marketing gimmicks. Relentless focus on solving an impossible terrain challenge through hydraulic sophistication and walking capability that wouldn't appear in mainstream excavators until the 2010s. Every hydraulic fitting and structural weld was manufactured to Swiss precision standards, ensuring longevity that competitors struggled to match. The story of Menzi Muck proves that niche specialization can sustain a company across generations, but rarely produces empires. The M5X dominated a market too small for giants to chase, yet large enough to support a family business for 77 years. On slopes exceeding 60 degrees, where conventional excavators cannot operate, the Menzi Muck M5X remains unchallenged. In the Swiss Alps, on terrain that defies gravity, the strangest excavator ever built continues walking where others cannot tread.